Hey guys, it's Jenny with Becoming Homesteaders. Happy New Year, and today will be my first garden tour of 2023. I had said last year that I would like to do a garden tour once a month for the entire year of 2023. And I'm so excited. It is time, 2023. Can you believe it? So come along with me as we do a quick garden tour in January of my garden. Happy New Year and welcome back to my garden. It is officially 2023. Today is January 5th. And as I promised, we are beginning the garden tours. So in my fall video, I said I'd like to do a garden tour every month this year, and we're starting out today. So it is a beautiful day, unseasonably warm. It is 43 degrees right now, which is a complete difference from last week over Christmas, which I'm sure everyone remembers. The storms that come through with the high winds, the cold temperatures. We got down with the wind chill to like negative 32 here with the wind chill. Actual temperature -6, so it was very cold, very windy. We were very concerned about some of the large trees that we have here in the yard. We have a few mountain spruce trees that are very big, and we always are a little nervous when winds come through. We had wind gusts of up to 50 to 60 miles an hour. So we're always concerned, but then that leaves the yard a mess as well, with pine needles everywhere and pine cones, pine pieces. So didn't lose any trees though. We were concerned with the big one in the front yard too. It's just very old and will probably have to be removed this year. But here we are, doing our garden tour on a beautiful day. So I thought the temperature was great. We might as well get out and start the tours. So I'm standing in my herb garden, and this is up close to the house. It's very convenient for the kitchen. So if I need some fresh herbs, I can just come out and get them. But this is been here since we bought the house. A lot of the herbs are new, but some of them are still here. Like this oregano has been here the whole time that we've lived here. We have a clematis in the back. So yeah, let's get ready for the garden tour. Okay, so up here in the herb garden, I know I went over all of these herbs in the fall tour, but if you're new, I'm gonna go through them again. We have some chives here. This is where I have the parsley. It was very full. There are some parsley plants left over there in the corner. They will be just fine and probably come back up this spring. We have marjoram right here. We have some thyme, oregano. There's some volunteer cilantro that's very early. More oregano back here. I had calendula back here, so I'm hoping that will self-seed again for this spring. Then over here I have my little greenhouse covering up some of my tenders. The rosemary is very hard to winter over, so I don't know, I think those temperatures may have gotten down a little bit too low, but we'll see this spring if anything comes back or not. There are two different varieties in here, and then my purple sage, so that looks pretty good. I think he will be just fine, and my lavender. I also think that one will be fine. We have more oregano here. We have a clematis. And that's about it in here for things that come back up. Then I will also do some plantings, and I may add some more flowers to this year. And I'm not really sure when I'm going to put in this box over here. We will see. All right, moving over from the herb garden is my strawberry bed, and it still looks really green, which is surprising, but there is a lot of leaf mulch underneath of it. I am not sure of the variety this is. I would like to replace this with a different variety just because the berries are very small. We do usually get a very good harvest, but it's just a lot of work when the berries are so small. So thinking about replacing them with a better variety that have bigger, juicier berries on them. And then at the end of the berries, we just have a little flower bed that has hydrangeas, or 2 small hydrangeas, and then hostas around that. Moving over from the strawberries, you see our wood pile, it is diminishing. We've had some nice fires this fall and winter so far. We have some grasses, some zebra grass and maiden grass, and some just dead things. I have a beautiful bleeding heart there that comes back, and it is so beautiful and one of my favorite things in this garden. But this is primarily a flower garden. I love the clematis, the old looking bird bath. My husband doesn't like it so much because it looks old, but I like the old look. But yeah, mostly flowers here in this garden. We have some butterfly bushes. I have a beautiful patch of bee balm that comes up here, as well as some German chamomile. We have some sedum here that comes up. And this, I tried doing kind of like a cut flower garden. We have zinnias and marigolds in here. I had snapdragons that I planted from seed, which I was so very pleased with. I collected the seed from the season before and tried reseeding them, and I started them indoors, so they did amazing. I would like to expand it because this is all daylilies, so I would like to remove some of the daylilies and make this more of a cut flower garden. I just love having those flowers there to bring in and put on your table, bringing a little bit of summer and spring into the house. So then back there are my 3 blueberry plants. This is the 3rd year, so they had a bit of a rough start because the critters keep eating them during the winter, and then they don't have anything to grow on then for the next season. So hopefully I have Fort Knoxed them enough. There is a lot of netting underneath there to protect them this winter, so hopefully I have a better yield of berries this year. So we'll see though. But that's the middle bed. Okay, so up front here by the house, we have a fenced in area, and this is where we had our tomato plants and our peppers. We also have a little raised bed back here in the back that we had our sweet potatoes in. That was a fail. I'll go into that again in another video, but we usually have a rain barrel over in the corner. We drain those in the fall. We also have one here. We drain them in the fall and put them in the back, because if we don't, they usually end up cracking, even if there's just a little bit of water left. So we make sure we get those put away for the winter. And then this is where we had our crops for the fall. Our cabbages and broccoli that we just didn't get in time. We will need to do that much sooner this year if we're gonna want a fall harvest. Yeah, but those did really, really good for me this spring. Then in front of that fenced in area there where we did the tomatoes and peppers, I have an extra little garden that I usually put more tomatoes or peppers or whatever we would have left over that did not have a home. This year we did some peas too that did real good, as well as some string beans. We're probably going to do that again. I haven't come up with a design yet. I might like to do things a little bit differently this year, but I am going to leave this hoop up. The vegetables underneath, obviously, we will just probably leave to decompose, and I will be planting my carrots again there. We have then some morning glories here, and just some little ornamentals down here that we usually pop in there for color. And here we are on the other side of the fence. So this is where I usually do onions and garlic. This fall I tried an experiment with my cabbages and broccoli on this side as well, like I did on that side, but we just didn't get things in the ground soon enough for them to mature to be able to harvest a late fall harvest for the cabbages, broccoli, and I think I had one cauliflower up here too. So, but I am going to leave the hoops up because then when I transplant my onions, the critters like to dig them up. Not that they eat them, but they just dig them up, so then they never survive. So I'm going to leave the hoops up and keep the onions covered once I do the transplanting. And then back here, oh wow, we have the garlic, and as you can see, it's already coming up, which it's way too early for these guys to be popping up, but they have a nice layer of leaf mulch over them, so they should be okay. And I got these in the ground a little bit later than I normally do. I try to get them in October, and I think it was the 1st of November when I got these in. And I don't even remember how many cloves I planted, but it's from the end of the hoop there all the way to about right here is where I stopped. So, and there are 3 rows of them. So yeah, they always do well for us. So we're excited to have garlic. All right, so this is the middle flower bed. This divides the properties here with me and my neighbor. We really just have ornamental flowers in here, hostas, the coreopsis there. We have a hydrangea, some weeds. So we do like to cut things back though, to deter the critters from making their nests. I know a lot of people are like, don't cut things down so things have a place to live in the winter, but I don't want them living in my yard because they destroy everything. So I would rather them go to the neighbor's yard. So, but yeah, just mostly hostas in here, some daylilies. Like I said, we have the coreopsis up there. This year we did take down a tree that was in the middle here. It was just very dead. So we planted some wildflowers this year, some zinnias and some cosmos and some marigolds. It was just a mix, and it was so beautiful. Very happy with that, but I'm not sure what we're going to do with that area this year. But then it comes back into the new part of the vegetable garden. So this was a new no-till method that I did. I kind of revised the normal no-till method and planted in it immediately. So if you're interested in that, I'll probably go in more detail in that in a couple of videos this spring on how I did this, but this was by far my best crop yet. We had cabbages here in the spring in the front row and broccoli in the second row, and then when I pulled those out in June, I planted beans, and both crops did amazing. So very happy with the way the no-till method worked out for that. This is the newest bed. Like I had said, those are the 2 new rows that we did the no-till method. That worked out well. These are some seedless Concord grapes that we started. This will be their 3rd year, so we're really hoping that we are able to harvest a few grapes this year. The actual stems look really good, so I'm excited to have this this year in the garden, so that's fun. The raised bed there, we had cucumbers. Like I said, I'm not real sure how I'm going to lay things out this year. We have a celery that still looks green, actually. We had flowers back here, lettuces, Swiss chards. It was just beautiful. So I'm excited for the season to start again and be able to plant things. So I have this covered. I'm hoping that I'll be able to get a head start this year here in this little bed with maybe some spinach or some greens, as well as this one. I have this covered normally, so I'm hoping some of these lettuces will come back in the spring, so we'll bring you along to see how those do. We have a little raised bed here, and then that bed over there with the stones. This is new too. This is where I had pumpkins and butternut squash. And then we have our compost pile. So the side garden over there just has flowers. There's some Jack Frost over there, some tulips that come up in the spring. But yeah, that's it, guys. Okay, that was the garden tour. It is a little bit chilly out here, but still a beautiful day. I'm excited for this year. I'm excited to see what things we plant. I can't wait to go in and design things. I usually come up with a plan in January and February. And last year I started, actually the year before that, I started keeping better track of when I plant things, what soil I use, if there were any fertilizers, if I had a great harvest, things like that, just to stay a little more organized. Last year was even better. I did a really good job on keeping track of things, writing things down, remembering, and taking a lot of pictures. That really helped a lot too. When I would go out in the yard, you always have your phone. I would take a picture if I saw something, and then a couple weeks down the road, if I have time, then I would go through my pictures and look and then write my notes down. Because, you know, in the heat of the season, sometimes you don't have time to sit down and write everything down, but you always have your phone, or at least I do. You can take pictures and then go back and reference to those. Oh yes, that happened on June 13th and those flowers or that vegetable looked really great, and I remember I did this, or I added that, fertilizer at that time. So keeping track of that then really helps the next season when you go back and you're like, oh gosh, how did I do that? Or where did I plant that? Or what fertilizer did I use? So I really do think that keeping a journal of some sort is very helpful. I will be starting my onion seeds. Woo, the breeze is chilly. I'm starting my onion seeds this weekend, so I will bring you along for that, and I will show you my little journal that I've started. It's just a binder. I'm sure there are better binders or better journals out there that you can get too, but whatever works for you to just keep you a little more organized. So I'm excited to start my seeds. The first seed of the season is usually the onions, so I hope you will come along with me. And if you liked my video, please remember to give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel, Becoming Homesteaders. Thanks guys, and we'll see you in the next video.